Hello and welcome back to Falcon Blues TV. Today we're joined with Sam Carrol from the Echo. Sam, thanks for joining us, mate.
Nice to have me.
It's been quite a quiet day, hasn't it, news-wise?
Well, something like that.
Now, obviously, if you've not heard, the Rooney-Vardys feud has just escalated, which, if anyone hasn't heard, basically, I believe she put it out on Instagram, didn't she?
Yeah.
Colleen Rooney saying that someone has been leaking stories to a paper we won't name. And it turns out it's Mrs. Vardys, it's Rebecca Vardys, which I've got to be honest, I think I was telling you earlier, it's been hard for us to work it today.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been hard to get work done because Twitter's just been alight with so many funny things. My favourite one is the Guess Who picture. I'm debating which one to use to put on the video, but my brother, got a shout out to Mark, on his lunch break, I gave him a picture of the Legion of Doom and the Hardy Boys from the WWF, and I said, listen, I want the Legion of Rooney versus the Hardy Boys. Within 10 minutes. Fantastic. But before we get started, tomorrow in the Falcon, there's a free comedy night, and it's brought to you by Rob Mitchell, who's been at the Hot Water Comedy Club. Paul Smith, who probably everyone knows Paul Smith, he says that what an excellent act, Rob brought real energy to the room, and his stories were not only genuinely funny, every member of the audience could relate to them. So that's tomorrow. It starts at 8 PM and it's free, just like this show, so why not come down and enjoy yourself? It's not bad for free, is it, eh?
Can't like a free night.
But before we move on, we have to talk again. We're very quick on the Falcon Blues chat group. Now, when this story broke, we were joking, saying, oh, well, you know, Vince McMahon's got to get involved and hire these people. So we put out a poll on Twitter, and it basically was saying, okay, the Rooneys versus the Vardys in a tag team ladder match, who wins? And we've had over 500 votes. You can still vote now, actually. And I've got to be honest, the Rooneys are winning by a mile. It's a lance. It's 97%. No, I think it was 96, 97%. But me personal, I agree. I think little Kai's going to get involved. He just won't help it. Yeah. If the Vardys get near that newspaper, that's the winner's got to grab the newspaper. Kai's going to get involved. He's going to be like the pallbearer of this situation, like us. But phone call as well. That can wait. Sorry, by the way, if you're watching and you've rang me. It's what happens when it's live, isn't it? But I mean, unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about it, aren't we, Sam?
I've already been on Radio City today, so I'm having a double depression. So having to talk about.
Sorry, mate. But I mean, what's your thoughts on Everton's current predicament?
I think I said before the season started that the only thing Silva couldn't afford to do, you know, with all the good work we'd done in the transfer market and that little positive spell we had towards the back end of last season, especially at Goodison, was have another spell like we did last winter after that game at Anfield, which we probably don't want to talk about ever again. And that's kind of what we've done straight away, isn't it? And, you know, it was a positive start, clean sheet against Palace, and then we beat Watford. And even after the Wolves game, you know, we had that little blip against Aston Villa, but I think everyone was still pretty positive, and
that's right.
And you know, the team seemed to be coming together. And then it just kind of hasn't went forward. You know, obviously unlucky with injuries, especially Jean-Philippe Gbamin, who, you know, I think missing him and Idrissa Gana Gueye, anyone who watched that Real Madrid PSG match, I think highlighted times 100 how important he was for Everton, even sometimes if we didn't always realise it. So, you know, as we were saying downstairs, now I just think at the start of the season, you know, you get your fixture list, and by this point I think we all had us top, didn't we? Winning every game.
It looked very friendly, didn't it, when they first come out, and as we were saying, December's creeping closer. And
well, now you look at the fixture list and thinking we could finish those 6 games, we could be Christmas Day in the relegation zone, and for the team with the internationals and the money spent on it, you know, I do feel sorry for Silva, because, you know, I'd say there's a lot of players in that squad who, if they had to put the hand on the heart, probably haven't been performing at the top level, but at the end of the day, the manager still has to take the kind of responsibility for where we are on the table, and that's the way football is nowadays, isn't it? I don't think any other manager with the squad they've got at Marco Silva's disposal will be happy with being 18th with the run of fixtures we've had, and whether it's a mentality thing or a quality thing, it's difficult, isn't it? But you've got to, surely these players they're putting out every week, you know, we've played in World Cups and Champions League, surely these are good enough to go to Bournemouth and win, surely they're good enough to play Sheffield United or Roma.
All internationals, most of them as well, and Michael Ball did a really great interview in the Echo the other day, very honest, very blunt, just saying the players have got to, either they need to have a meeting and sit down and just say, we're not performing.
Yeah.
The word he used was spineless.
Yeah.
Obviously, he wasn't just critical to the players, he pointed out the problems with that Silva's had. And I've seen people point the finger at Brands as well, because obviously, we're a centre-half light still. Now, I think we put our eggs in one basket thinking we're going to get Zuma.
Yeah.
And there really was no other options, because what worried me on the last day was when we were going in for this Rojo, or I like to call him Rojo. But I was like, I've seen this before, and I don't fancy paying 20 million for him. And then, as I've said from the beginning, Moise Keane is a talented young player, but he's 19. He can't keep loads of pressure. I still think we're missing an experienced striker up top as well. So where the blame goes on that, is it Marco, is it Marcel Brands? But even after the transfer window, still, even though we've missed out on that, I was genuinely positive. And the most frustrating thing for me is, you look around the teams that are in the below us and above us, they would kill to have our squad, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And none of them have had the money we've had to spend.
No.
And like we've discussed earlier, the most frustrating thing for me is I've seen far worse Everton teams, or so-called lesser players, but they play like a team and they give it their all. I'm not seeing that, you know what I mean? I'm not seeing players bust their gut, I'm not seeing players help each other out. I'm sick of seeing goals conceded off a set piece and everyone going like this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it's saying, like, oh, that was your blade of grass to mark, or this soul stuff. And now it's like that zone, because it can work. It worked last season after the Millwall game when we went on that run.
Yeah.
But is that Everton just playing well when the pressure's off? There's nothing to play for, and then they turn it on. It's odd. It really is odd, because I'd love Marco to succeed. I'd love him to turn it around. But seeing a lot of the comments, and obviously you'll see it with the Echo as well, a lot of the fan base are turning against him now, and it's sad to see. But do you see a future for Marco? Because I mean, the two next, like you were saying, the two next fixtures against West Ham and Brighton, they are big fixtures now.
I don't even think they're the big fixtures for Everton. It's massive fixtures for Marco Silva, isn't it? I think it needs to be 2 positive results and at least 4 points. But I even think there'll still be supporters, and even Marco himself would be disappointed with that. I think if you get 2 wins from that, and then we can kind of start looking at those 6 matches and saying, okay, we've got a bit of momentum, but you lose that game against West Ham, and it would be very, very difficult to kind of make a case for not sacking him. I think one thing that has counted in his favour over the international break, I know a few Championship teams and League One teams have started pulling the trigger this week, but for Everton and Everton supporters as well, it's so difficult to kind of think we are in that kind of middle ground between being in that top 6, but we would still never kind of associate ourselves with the kind of lower echelons of the table where we currently find ourselves. So what kind of manager kind of steps into that kind of breach, do you know what I mean? And it's difficult really. There's not many candidates out there who any fans would kind of say would be a guaranteed success. There's you probably see it yourself online, there's knowledgeable people out there who throw names about that some of us have probably never heard of, but I don't think anymore there's a guaranteed kind of appointment unless you go and get Guardiola, really, who's gonna bring success. And even with Everton, you kind of now, you just think we're cursed to the point, if we got Guardiola in the Man City squad, we'd probably still...
Someone made a good shout saying that if we signed Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, they'd turn into Brett Angel and Stuart Barlow overnight. It's
a mentality problem though, isn't it? And that is the thing of like, Everton now have just kind of found new ways to kind of disappoint us and let us down. It's difficult not to think that way, isn't it? And something has to change. I just don't know why it's only been Everton now for the last 10 or 15 years. Why have we never really went away to Stamford Bridge and Anfield and Arsenal and won games? Why is it always us that gets rolled over by average Bournemouth and Burnley teams away from home? The players on the pitch, as you're saying, are internationals. They've played in Europe. What's happening when they're playing for Everton that is changing?
You wonder what's going on in the dressing room, and like you've probably seen it yourself online. There's all these ridiculous rumours about not just the stadium being over budget, rumours of bust-ups in the change rooms. Well, we know who's the culprit now. It's Rebecca Vardy, obviously.
Well,
she's leaking everything, hasn't she? She's been leaking government documents probably. But with West Ham on the horizon, they turned us over last season at home 3-1. Yarmolenko scored twice, and I mean he was nailed on to score because we got linked with him. Touch wood, he doesn't do it again. Got him in my fancy teams on. I'm going to have to take him out, aren't I? But I mean, they've had a good start, but them again have been inconsistent. I think a lot of teams have as well. You've seen it with United, Spurs, and that, like you were saying earlier on, Sam, is the most frustrating thing. A lot of these teams are dropping points. Look at Leicester, you know what I mean? They're doing a really good job. They're flying, and I know Brendan sort of played things down, saying, look, I think top four is, you know, let's not get too excited. That's the right thing to say, I suppose. Don't want to get everyone's hopes up, but I mean, they used to call us the best of the rest, didn't they? Yeah. Now, I think the ones we're competing with, or we should be competing with, come the business end of the season, is the likes of Wolves and Leicester, because they're sort of the team that are on the fringes like ourselves. But at the minute, we're not. You know what I mean? We're not performing on any cylinder, and it's obviously it's frustrating to watch. But I mean,
but it builds over time, doesn't it? You know, like you still, obviously their resources on a kind of worldwide scale are still great and ours. But I think what disappoints me is that at this stage, 10 years ago, you know, I think we finished above Liverpool for 2 or 3 seasons. You know, Spurs were finishing mid-table. You know, our main rivals around that time was Aston Villa for 5th and 6th. And
look what happened to them as well. I know they're back in the league now, but it's right. Moyes' last 2 seasons we finished above Liverpool, and Spurs were chasing us for a while. We were always finishing 5th. I mean, Spurs were, because then it was still called the top 4. As soon as Spurs got into it was the big 5 and the big 6, and but I mean, I just think back laughing now to that Villa game where people were going, if we win this, we're going to go top. That's like, shut up. Anytime anyone
says like that, so far away, doesn't it?
It does. But
even the Bournemouth game, I think, was like, if we won by a certain score, we went 3rd and something like that. And, you know, to consider that was only like a month or so ago that we were talking like that, to now be saying, you know, if Newcastle beat Man United, we go 18th. You know, it's a struggle to kind of keep up with how fast we've declined this season. And I think the international breakers almost came at the worst possible time in a way, because even though we're not in good form, I think we all just want to see the team get back out there and do a number on West Ham. But you know, it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be a difficult game to manage for Silva and the players, because at the end of the day, if Everton don't score in the first 20 minutes, half an hour, it's only natural that the crowd's going to get restless.
Exactly.
You know, and the crowd will expect us to go out and be 2-3-0 up and be putting on a performance, you know, by the second half. And God forbid what would happen with the atmosphere if West Ham score. So
I want to see more different tactics, like play to the team's strengths, focus on the opponent's weaknesses, like Burnley did on Saturday. I mean, the way that corner worked, they tried that a couple of times, like, you know, like blocking off Schneider and stuff like that, and it's just the thing that's annoyed me about the goals we've conceded is they're all stoppable. You know what I mean? It's not like they've all been like, you know, 20-yard volleys barring in, and you know, it's been an absolute screamer. They've all been really sloppy and just too easy to, like, it's so easy to counter-attack Everton. Like, if we get a corner lately, it's like a disadvantage to us because we give it away and the team breaks on us. And like I was saying earlier, we never play down the middle. We never use Sigurdsson's strengths. He's getting a lot of stick, but Sigurdsson's basically playing a number 10 with 2 defensive midfielders isolating him. Now, I understand, look, if you're playing away to City, fair enough, play like that. But at home to Sheffield United, you know, let's be a bit more adventurous. They played with 2 up front. You know what I mean? It's working for them. Like, we went to Burnley last season and won 5-2, wasn't it, on Boxing Day? And a few people say we played 3-5-2. I can't quite remember, but I remember Yerry Mina scoring and Lucas Digne scoring twice. But it's like these players, I think everyone's lost a bit of confidence in the way the team perform. That's only natural. But we do need to see something different on next Saturday. And it's an early kick-off as well, isn't it? So it's, I mean, God forbid we lost it, you know what I mean?
Don't.
But I said this on the previous video, which it's got a couple of thousand views. People seem to take to it. I'm not confident of getting 3 points against West Ham at all, which I shouldn't be saying that. No disrespect to West Ham. I think the big game for us really as well is the Watford game at home in the League Cup. And I think that's been his saving grace, that we're still in that. But, you know, we're trying to get some positives. Do wake, it's nice, isn't it?
I think it would be more with Silva is that, you know, when you look back on the managers and when things ended, was that with Moyes it was kind of a little bit of sadness that it was over, but, you know, excitement at maybe what could come. I think with Martinez then it was relief by the time he went, because we'd been pretty much shocking for 2 seasons after that first season. With Koeman it was anger at how it had all kind of imploded over the space of one summer. And then with Allardyce, you know, I think people always knew that was going to come. I think with Silva, if things were to end this season, it would just be more disappointment because, you know, I think it felt like a real fresh start the way him and Brand both kind of came in the same week. And okay, there was a little bit of kind of, you know, he came from Watford, he's only won this many games, but I think people were willing to give him a chance and wanted to give him time. You know, even through that spell last season, people, maybe after the Millwall game it slightly turned a little bit, but people still, the majority remained behind Silva throughout that bad spell. Now that it's happened again, I think it would be very close now to being maybe, I'd say 50-50 from maybe what I've seen in terms of in favour and not in favour. And you know, it's just becoming a concern now that, you know, Martinez couldn't build on a first season, Koeman didn't build on a first season. Now it looks like Silva's struggling to build on a first season. Why are these managers hitting this point where then they can't go on and take us that next step? You know, it seems like we can finish kind of just outside where we want to be, but then not just kick on that little bit further. And it's just so confusing, isn't it? And I think the reason Everton fans are kind of so anxious, especially when we play at home, and you know, I know a lot of people kind of get frustrated by the atmosphere sometimes, but you know, you need the team on the pitch to still inspire the supporters in the stadium. Is still what I always think.
So it's got to be a bit of both, hasn't it?
Yeah. You know, and obviously in the big games, they know that whether we're 20th or we're first, that the Goodison crowd will turn up, and we've seen that over the years. But you know, the biggest worry now for Silva is pure apathy, isn't it? And
sure.
I think it was a little bit like that again after Sheffield United, in that people just kind of go and it's like we're just back to being rubbish, and that's just from where we were kind of talking before the season started and kind of making a push for the top six. I don't think anyone kind of envisioned how kind of up and down Chelsea and United and Tottenham would be, and
especially Spurs.
Yeah, and now I think 8 games in and it's a real sickness that 8 games in it feels like we've missed our chance, and 8 games in it feels like Liverpool have won the league. So it's like a double kick.
It's because it's so early in the season as well. I mean, like, I remember when Allardyce took over, we ended up finishing 7th, no 8th, sorry. But it, like you said, it seems like a wasted opportunity again. The only saving grace is being still in the League Cup, because I mean that's what I said at the start of the season. I'd take a respectable league position, whether it's even if it was 8th or 9th. As long as we had a good go at a League Cup. Yeah. I want to go back to Wembley again, you know what I mean? Obviously I want to win a trophy, like it's been that long. I mean, Jesus, I was 6 when we won the FA Cup, which is too young to appreciate it, you know what I mean? I think I cursed Everton, actually. I was born in '88.
I was minus 1 month, so I'm probably the bigger case.
It's just, what can you do, you know what I mean? But, you know what? They might be winning the league and they may have won a European Cup. Do you know what they'll never have, Sam?
Go on.
They'll never have the 2012 Friendship Cup.
It was a big win. It was a big win.
You know what I loved about it though? Like, Phil Neville picked it up like he'd won the Champions League, and then like passed it to Distan, and he had a good go of it. It got to Tony a bit and he sort of just went, yeah, just pass it along, lads.
Yeah, he's never one for frills, him.
No, it wasn't, was he? What a legend, Tony, with this. When we had Leon Osman here a few years ago, this was before we were doing the channel. It's a shame really, because Leon was great that night. It was his first ever sportsman's evening as well, and Dan Griffiths was like the compere, and he said, when I originally got this, I thought, you know what, Tony Ibbott would be really good. And he asked him about it. Tony Ibbott just went, fuck off. Just quite blunt, but that's... I'd imagine apparently he's very funny, he's very dry.
Yeah.
You know, what blew my mind was though that Tony Ibbott started as a striker.
Really,
yeah? Player, which I thought was amazing, but...
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it?
I think my most favourite goal in recent memories was his goal in this testimonial.
It's Athens.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
That was good, that. I remember me and my mate all day were like, oh, if he scores, we'll get on. And I remember my mate had brought this brand new white t-shirt and in like kind of like Maliv celebrating. I got my finger jammed in the seat and was just bleeding all over him. So then like the two of us were trying to get on the pitch while I was just bleeding, and then he noticed that I was bleeding on his t-shirt, and we nearly ended up scrapping with each other because of the brand new t-shirt he just bought. So that was my main memory from that game.
Could have went viral, that sounds like
it could.
So, even though it's still a week away, what's your predictions for the West Ham game? You're going for a positive?
I think you've always got to go for a positive. It's just difficult, isn't it? You know, even before the Sheffield United game, you're thinking, 3-4-0, and at the moment, the way we're playing and the confidence that seems to be missing from the squad, I don't think we can take any game for granted. So I'm hoping for a nice positive 2 or 3-1er, but right now I'd take a last minute in-off Fabianski's backside.
Yeah, and God, do you remember the game you had away when we played at the their ground. I forgot the name now. Was it the London?
London Stadium?
Yeah, the London Stadium. He had a slow-mo. We won't see it. It could have been 4 or 5, but it seems like that Everton's long gone ago. It's only a couple of months ago as well.
The goals that came a few weeks ago, and it was just like the football we played, especially for that opening. I think where Coleman got slotted in, and then he squared it for Bernard. It was like
brilliant.
You know, and that's the biggest frustration, isn't it? A lot of what came at the end of last season really did make you think we just needed some small tweaks, and you know, I think we were kind of resigned to losing Ghana. Maybe we weren't sure whether PSG would come back again, but you know, even at 28 million for a 29, 30-year-old, he's looking a bargain for PSG. But it did just seem like we just needed a few. You know, there was no players in the squad really. I think it was quite clear where we needed to strengthen, and you know, I know you're kind of saying, you know, an experienced striker and a centre back, and that's what we didn't get. But you know, even when the transfer window did close, I was quite pleased in the sense that I still thought what we had was good enough, and I kind of thought, you know, kind of what you alluded to. I'd rather Brands and Silva be saying, okay, we could pay 20. You know, United aren't going to loan Rocco. They want 25 million for it. We can pay this now and see how it goes, or we can wait. And I think Brands just had that kind of confidence in the squad that we were going to build.
I'm glad we did wait as well, because if we'd signed him for like a 4-year deal, it'd probably be the same situation as like Cuco Martin and Balassi, where we've got more players on big wages that we can't get rid of. And I mean, look, this is an appeal. If anyone wants to take Cuco Martin on loan, I mean, I'll pay it out of my own pocket. You know what I mean? No offence, Cuco. I mean, that's a great first name. If I ever have a son, he's getting named Cuco, because it would be a cool name, wouldn't it?
In honour of Martina.
That's it, yeah. But well, coming up soon, we're gonna next guest will be Rebecca Vardys with an exclusive. It's making my afternoon, that, you know. But we will have an exclusive interview with Marco Silva. Well, sort of. You'll see what I'm working on. And there is 2 pundits going onto my list. People guessed. The cat's out the bag. One of them is Michael Owen, but I'm working on something with Michael Owen, a bit of video editing, and all I'll say about it is have fun. But the other one, he played for Man United, Inter Milan, Liverpool, Middlesbrough, Wolves. Played for England as well. Came up with his own nickname. If any of you have guessed, I'll let us know in the comments. I think Sam's worked it out there. But there's various reasons he's been put on it. Not for who he's played it for. It's mostly some of the statements he comes out with. And, let's just say he was a manager at a team that I won't name because it'll make it obvious then. And you know, he has his notepad with the tactics on. Someone zoomed in and he's got an arrow pointing to the goal saying shoot. Tactical genius. But until then, Sam, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so watch out, Rebecca Vardys next. She's going to be exclusive. Don't think anyone's even believing me anymore. But thanks for watching. Keep pressing that subscribe button, keep pressing the like button. So up the fucking toffees.